Good evening. My name is Linson Thomas Kaidamalayal. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to try explain you history of almost 2000 years old Knanaya community. The purpose of all this session is to make you understand who you are and what's so special about you.
മൈലാഞ്ചി അണിയിക്കട്ടെ കല്യാണ പെണ്ണിനെ മൈലാഞ്ചി അണിയിക്കട്ടെ മൈലാഞ്ചി അണിയിക്കട്ടെ
പണ്ടിതു പണ്ടേ കപ്പലിൽ വന്നേ തുമ്പക്കീനാനും കൂട്ടാരും ചേരക നാട്ടിൽ വന്നു പുകഴ്ന്നേ ഇപ്പരദേശി നാനൂറും വന്നവരിങ്ങോ വേരോടി വെറ്റു വളർന്നേ സുറിയാനി കൂട്ടത്തിൽ വന്നണയുന്നേ കല്യാണം അയലുള്ളോരും അറിവുള്ളോരും അനുവാദങ്ങൾ ഇനി തന്നോണം പെണ്ണിനും പയ്യനും ചന്തവും ചാത്തിടുന്നേ
It's a time our nation see and hear a lot of debates about equality. And today when I talk about Knanaya community, a lot of people may raise questions about us. I encourage you all to read and be part of these debates because it's very essential for any civilized countries to have an equal system. So you must learn how to respect and treat people of colors, people of different races, and socioeconomic background equally. Having said that, I want you to also understand this great nation provides us constitutional freedom to practice our faith, to practice our traditions which we've been carrying out for almost 2000 years, but without harming anyone else's feelings. So I want you to watch this beautiful video and come back to talk about our rich traditions and history.
You spend the weekend getting even. We spend the late nights making things right between us. But now, cause girls like you run around with guys like me, son. Now when I come through, I need a girls like you, yeah, yeah. Girls like you, yeah, yeah.
I'm sure you all have attended many weddings like this. And some of you may have at least noticed that there is something unique about these weddings which we don't get to see in other community weddings. Our traditional songs, our Nadavili, our Chandan Chartal, our Mailan Chidil, the overall vibrance and the fun nature of our wedding, which is very unique. I'm talking about Knanaya wedding just to explain some unique features of us. But if you observe closely, you will get to see each Knanaya community member is a little bit different from other communities in terms of how they care for each other, how they get along with each other within the community. It is because we are one blood. We are basically one big family. So what's so special about Knanaya community? So the Knanayites, as I mentioned, they travel from Middle East and they are descendants of ancient Jews. You all may have some friends at school or college who belong to the Jewish community, especially children from Chicago area. We have a huge Jewish population here. So if you have noticed some of their traditions and rituals and culture, you will see a lot of similarities between them and us. It is estimated that there are approximately 200,000 Knanaya people live across the globe. They live in more than 50 countries, yet they follow one culture and they still maintain the contact. That's what makes this community most precious. Our forefathers started their journey from southern Mesopotamia, which is in modern Iraq in Middle East. So they traveled through the ocean in ships for many days and nights, and they landed in the Malabar coast of Kerala. The town they landed is called Kodungalur or Krangalur. So the leader of this immigrant community was Thomas of Cana, and he is popularly known as Knai Tommen. Knai Tommen was a businessman, so he may have traveled across the ocean to different lands to do the business. So he may have heard about a land which was visited by Saint Thomas and a new Christian community that is struggling to grow. So at that point, the document says he decided, with the help of his spiritual leadership, to travel to India to strengthen Christianity there and establish his own business interest. But look at the number of people he took with him. He had about 400 people belong to different clans, including bishops and priests, which means he was very determined to travel to a new country, help the people over there, at the same time hold on to their traditions very strongly and keep their community together. Migration under the leadership of Knai Tommen is considered as a turning point in history of Christians in India. Per documents, Knai Tommen and his group were welcomed to the land by then Emperor Chairman Perumal. The emperor allowed Knai Tommen and his people to live in the city, preach about Christianity, and do their business. Later, the emperor provided Knai Tommen with 72 privileges and thereby elevated them over 17 castes. The caste system in India may not be so familiar to you who live in the United States. However, it was an ill practice existed in ancient India. People of lower caste were denied even their basic rights. For an example, a lower caste person cannot share water from a well that's used by an upper class person. Even during this time, the emperor treated Knai Tommen with respect and provided him with privileges that many local communities did not have at that point. These privileges helped Knanaya people to have a respectful position in the community. The recognition for Knanaya people gradually helped other local Christian communities as well. People started to accept and treat Christians better than many other communities. So the Knanaya people, when they landed in India, they formed themselves into an endogamous community by keeping their tradition and culture. If you don't know endogamy, that's a custom of marrying or finding their spouse from own community. So if you allow me to skip to the modern history, later from Kodungalur, our people traveled to other towns in Kerala, and the one thing common is all these places are close to rivers like Kaduthuruthi, Kallisheri, Kottayam, Udayamperur, Chungam. After all these years' prayers and efforts, in 1911, Catholic Church acknowledged Knanaya community as an indigenous community and provided us freedom to form our own ecclesiastical system. Hence, Knanaya Catholic Diocese of Kottayam was born. Who is a Knanaya? Who can be a Knanaya? The answer to that is very plain and clear. If you are born to Knanaya parents, that means both your parents are Knanaya, then you are a Knanaya by birth. Also, if you decide to get married, then your spouse must be a Knanaya. That means both her parents must be Knanaya. That has always been the definition to be a Knanaya, and that will always be the definition to be a Knanaya and be part of this great community. The history of Knanites in United States starts back in 1950s. Some of our reverend priests from our community, including Father Joseph Kandarapallu, Father Jacob Kalayal, Father Kuriakos Mialil, they all came to United States for higher studies. After school, they returned to India and notified their family and friends about this land of opportunities. This inspired many, and people started to immigrate in small batches. As of late 70s, there were a notable number of Knanites in United States. Their community sense and relationships helped them get organized pretty soon. In 1983, the first Knanaya organization out of India, was formed in Chicago, Knanaya Catholic Society of Chicago. In 1988, Knanaya Catholic Congress of North America came into reality. In 1983, Knanaya Catholic Mission of Chicago was established under the Archdiocese of Chicago. This continued until the establishment of Syro Malabar Catholic Diocese of Chicago in 2001. As we speak, Knanaya Catholic region has grown with 14 churches and 8 missions. We have churches in most major cities like Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, Detroit, Houston, Los Angeles, Miami, New Jersey, New York, San Antonio, San Jose, and Tampa, with membership of more than 25,000 Knanites. It is a pleasure to see Knanaya local associations also work so actively in all these cities. It may be a bit hard for you to remember all these names and years, but don't worry about it. All you have to do is go to our Knanaya churches whenever possible, attend our local association activities, be with your family and friends. You will start to feel how we recognize each other, how open we are to help each other, how much we care about our fellow community members. Just look around your neighborhoods in New York, in Tampa, in Houston, in Chicago, and see how much we love to live around our family and friends. My dear children, I encourage you to go out and be friends with the whole world. Learn to respect and treat everyone equally, no matter what his color or faith is. At the same time, you should not forget, you belong to a unique community. You are a Knanaya. This small community survived more than 1600 years by practicing our traditions and by following our sense of community living. My dear children, the future of this community completely relies on you. We trust you, we count on you. To recap, Knanaya Catholics are descendants of ancient Jews immigrated to India for missionary services. We continue to migrate and at present lives in more than 50 countries. When our forefathers left Mesopotamia in AD 345, the advice given to them was to maintain family and community relationships no matter where you live. Finding life partner from own community is a custom we've been following to maintain these relationships. That exactly is what helped the small community survive hundreds of years. Our community is our strength. Tradition and culture is our life. Each Knanaya is committed to pass these traditions proudly to next generations. It was a great pleasure sharing this time with you. I thank you entire Knanaya region for giving me this opportunity. I wish you all the very best. God bless. Thank you.